Let's look at solving by factoring. I've got x squared plus 15x equals negative 56, and I'm being asked to solve. Now, if you can set this equation up to look like a times b equals 0, then either a or b has to equal 0. The only way you can get 0 from multiplication is if one of the two pieces before was 0 itself. So having it equal negative 56 on this side, that's not as nice as actually having it equal 0. So one of the first things I do when I'm solving, in a lot of situations, is I might try to pull everything to one side to make it equal 0. So one thing I can do here is I could start by adding 56 to both sides, because negative 56 plus 56 gives me 0. Now, I'm not seeing two things multiplied together to equal 0 yet. That's where factoring comes in. So if I'm solving this thing by factoring, I'm taking this x, and I'm trying to split up this 56. So I'm trying to find numbers that multiply to give me 56, but add to give me 15. So I'm going to find things that multiply to my a times c, or just my constant term here, 56. I want them to add to that middle term, 15. So if you go through the list, 1 and 56, that adds up to 57. That doesn't work. Maybe I try, I don't know, 2 and 28. Gives me 30. That doesn't work. Maybe I try 4 and 14. That gives me 18. I'm getting close, but not quite. What about 7 and 8? And you might have seen 7 and 8 from the start. If you did, you didn't have to check all these pairs. So once you start to do more of these, you're going to build up that number sense. That makes this a lot faster. But I have x plus 7 and x plus 8. 7 times 8 is 56. 7 plus 8 gives me 15. I should have my equal signs lining up. In fact, I usually start by writing that equal sign down first. So this is a little messy here, but that's okay. So I've got x plus 7. I have x plus 8. This is equal to 0. So if I'm solving this, this tells me one of these two pieces, either this x plus 7 piece or this x plus 8 piece, is equal to 0. So I'm going to set all of my factors, my x plus 7 factor, my x plus 8 factor, equal to 0, and I'm going to solve these like two mini problems. So taking that positive 7 and subtracting it to the other side, one of the numbers that's going to work here if I plug it in is negative 7. If I pull this 8 to the other side, if I subtract that over, another number that I could plug in at the very start and get a true statement is negative 8. So I start by bringing everything to one side. I factor. I set each factor equal to 0, and I solve. So my answer set, negative 7 and negative 8. Really good strategy of solving, factoring. That's actually why we factor. We take complicated pieces and we try to make them into something a little bit smaller and easier to manage.